Welcome back to Montessori Unlocked, where we peel back the theory, the science, and the lived practice of what Montessori actually does for human development. Today, we're talking about one of the most misunderstood but most powerful outcomes of Montessori education: critical thinking. Not as a buzzword, not as a high school level skill, but as something that begins from day one in a Montessori environment. Montessori children don't wait until adolescence to learn how to think. They are thinking deeply, independently, scientifically from the moment they enter the environment. Let's break down how that happens. Critical thinking isn't memorizing facts, it's the ability to observe, compare, analyze, predict, test, revise, and understand connections. And that's the exact cognitive sequence built into Montessori environments. The truth is, Montessori isn't just child led learning, it's structured inquiry. Dr. Montessori built a pedagogy around how the brain actually constructs knowledge through the senses, through movement, through sequencing, through self directed exploration, and through materials that turn thinking into something visible and repeatable. Montessori children aren't told what to think. They're given the tools to discover how thinking works. Let's start with the backbone of early critical thinking: the concrete to abstract progression. In most conventional settings, children are given abstractions early: letter symbols without sound, number symbols without quantity, rules without context. Montessori reverses that. We begin with reality: concrete materials, real movement, hands on manipulation, because that's how the brain naturally forms concepts. A child doesn't memorize 10 first, they carry 10 golden beads in their hands. They feel the weight. They compare it to one bead or a bar of 10. They physically build the number system. This is critical thinking. It's conceptual reasoning emerging from experience rather than from instruction. The same is true in language. Before grammar symbols, children build sentences with objects and labels. Before reading rules, they build phonetic awareness through sound games and the movable alphabet. Concrete, representational, abstract. This progression is not accidental. It builds neurological pathways that support pattern recognition, creativity, and flexible thinking. Montessori doesn't just teach academic content, it teaches children how to build knowledge in a logical, grounded, reality connected way. The second foundation of early critical thinking in Montessori is real world reasoning. Montessori materials aren't toys, they're models of reality. When a child works with a pink tower, they're not stacking blocks. They are exploring the following: gradation, dimension, visual discrimination, proportional reasoning, sequencing. When they wash a table or prepare a snack, they're not doing chores. They are navigating things like multi step processes, sequencing, spatial reasoning, cause and effect, executive function, and natural consequences. Real world tasks become cognitive training grounds. Instead of being told, follow the steps, children discover the steps through repeated experience, observation, and self correction. That is real world reasoning. That's early engineering. That is the foundation of scientific thought. Here's the part most people miss: Montessori children use the scientific method every day, long before they can define it. Let's map it out. There's observation. Materials call the child to look closely, to see differences, patterns, relationships. Hypothesis. What happens if I do it this way? What if I pour faster? What if I start with this bead? They test ideas constantly. Experimentation. Montessori materials are self-correcting. Children try, revise, and try again without adult judgment. Analysis. They compare their results, noticing errors, adjust strategies. In the conclusion, they reach understanding through discovery, not because an adult explained, but because their brain made the connection. This is inquiry. It's agency. This is the foundation of lifelong critical thinking. Children as investigators of their own learning. And because Montessori removes reward punishment cycles, the motivation is not compliance, it's curiosity. The scientific method becomes not an academic requirement, but a way of living inside the world. Critical thinking is not a solo skill. It is fundamentally social. Montessori's mixed-age community builds collaborative reasoning long before group projects are introduced. Older children model strategies. Younger children observe, replicate, refine. This is peer-based metacognition. Children learn things like negotiating ideas, solving problems together, listening for understanding, explaining their thinking out loud, revision when new information emerges. These are the exact skills that adults struggle with in workplaces and civic life. Montessori children practice them daily in natural and authentic ways. Critical thinking is not just what happens in your head, it's the way you navigate ideas with other people. And Montessori prepares children for that in deeply intentional ways. Montessori builds critical thinkers, not through worksheets or lectures, but through environments that honor the natural construction of intelligence. Concrete to abstract, real-world reasoning, the scientific method lived, not memorized. Collaborative inquiry that strengthens both independence and community. From day one, Montessori children are building the habits of mind that shape innovators, problem solvers, and compassionate leaders. Critical thinking isn't a skill we add later. It's something we nurture from the beginning, through the environment, through the materials, and through trust in the child's innate capacity to think. Thanks for joining Montessori Unlocked.